Well, we had this. I mean, it's a bit of a failure actually, because the plan. That's Robbie Burns, isn't it? The best laid plans of mice and men are Ganag after Gee. The plan was that they would bring something different to it. Each one would have a different style, and that would be one of the variations that we would compensate for the lack of characters. You know, because there is just basically one character in 90% of the film. And we thought, yeah, because like Anthony Dodmantle's like Northern European, he'll bring a kind of cool diffidence to it. And then Enrique Chediak, who's from Ecuador, will bring a kind of passion, Latin American passion to it. And
did you plan that out? Like
that was honestly,
because they were scheduled for certain scenes. So did you think that out?
So that was the idea, is that we were thinking we'll manoeuvre the narrative around to suit their passions, or to get them to jump. And I also thought, in addition to that, I thought, wow, there's a fairly good chance James will prefer one of them to the other, because it's going to be very intimate. I knew that. And I thought it may even get that he really dislikes one of them and really likes the other, and then I could exploit that. And like on a really difficult scene, I'd send in the one he doesn't like. There'd be tension, and I could exploit. It'd be good cop, bad cop, you know. None of that worked, of course, none of it. Because in fact what happened is something much better, and it just shows you that plans you should always abandon if you can, if you find something better. And I think what happened, and I never really realised this, although we'd set up the equipment that would enable this to happen, is that they developed the style with James of the film, of how it's shot. We had these cameras which we'd used in Mumbai, and they're very, very flexible, very intimate spaces they can get in, and yet they're proper film cameras in effect. They're digital, but they're handheld is normally on your shoulder or on your hip, basically, or running at the bottom of your arm, because you can't do that with a film camera. It's just too heavy. But these things, you can do that. You can swap hands and do that, and they have a little gyro underneath them which stops them looking handheld. They look smoother, not quite as smooth as a Steadicam, but sort of halfway there. And they were the key. And because there was no room in there was just him and them. They started to work, and if we'd have started the whole time, we'd still be there, I think, and it would look fake, because it would be impossible to sustain. So what we did is we did everything we did in these long, long takes, and they would develop the movement during it. So we wouldn't say, stop, now we'll do the wider one. Like, okay, right, let's do the close-up. They would just take the close-up, and I think you knew, because you could feel them, and American actors are like this, they know when a close-up is being taken. They can feel it, you know, and yeah, and so they know, you know. Whereas, anyway, British actors are very different. It's an interesting thing I learned on it. That's all. So I could talk about that if you want. But anyway, they developed this style, and it dictated the whole film actually. And we did virtually every scene like that. And when we did it differently, we never used it in the editing because it looked fake. It didn't look real. You didn't quite believe he was there. It felt like a film. You know, whereas we do these long, long takes and they develop it themselves. So in fact, something much better than, thank you very much, something much better than what was planned came out of it. And I love that. I celebrate that, because you should always have a plan A, but plan B is always better if you find it. You know, if you can find it on the day with the actor, and it's always much better.